but I don't know.
Small enough tournament that it can go a little more with losses.
All right, everybody, here we are with round 2 of tonight's Friday Night Standard Tournament. On the left, we've got Brandon Hodge. I haven't seen Hodge in several weeks, so good to see him and get him under the bright lights of the feature match camera. He is playing Naya Blitz, which is pretty self-explanatory. Champion of the parish, Burning Tree emissaries, lots of humans. Just beat you down with creatures. And his opponent is Justin Sayre, who is playing a Junk Reanimator, which is angels and thragtusks, acidic slimes, unburial rites, that kind of stuff.
If we see a Burning Tree into a Lightning Mauler, I think Brandon wins.
I don't know, going out on a limb there, Yin, if Brandon draws the nuts. Well, he does have his mana right, so let's see. There's a Flint Hoof Boar. There's an emissary into like the Oracle. Were you using your Asian mysticism to?
I was in the Matrix.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yikes. So down to 13.
Like, this is at a point where I don't know what's in Junk Reanimator. If he has a Lingering Souls, maybe he can stabilize, but...
I don't even know if these decks play Lingering Souls anymore. I know they've eschewed the Lingering Souls into Craterhoof plan.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know if they just play Lingering Souls for value anymore.
He just passed, so...
Yeah. Is that a good turn 2? The chat wondering, is that a good turn 2? I think it probably how you draw it up. But these decks do have those kind of explosive starts, you know. That's the gambit you play when you play the super aggressive creature deck. Sometimes you have draws that can't be beat, and sometimes you have draws that couldn't win if they had to. There's a Flint Hoof Boar
with haste.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch. Yeah.
Now it's only 2 damage, right? Because he doesn't have a mountain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So Justin down to 4.
And he scoops.
And I'll take this opportunity to remind them to put the life counter on the table so that I can see what the heck is going on.
We'll put you on camera so we can see that happen. Yikes. Yeah. Well, so I can call exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, make Yin look like a genius over here. Alright. That awkward point in every week where I have to stop talking and go to Facebook and make this post so I can give these cards away to everybody. I am missing this as we not look at my personal email, or my personal Facebook, and see my buddy Ian Nolte's pointing out a benefit show tonight that I would have gone to had I not... I'm missing.
I had absolutely no clue that was going on, so I am not technically missing anything. Well, plus I just copied and pasted.
Oh yeah, I've got this down to a science. What science is that, you might be asking yourself? Well, it's this. You may have seen at the start of this round, or the start of last round, or the start of almost every round of Magic that we play on our FNM stream. We start our games with a delightful game of rock, paper, scissors featuring these novelty cards from the Unglued parody set. If you don't have your own play set, well, you're in luck because we give them away each and every week. Just head over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic and look for the giveaway post that I just made. Like the post, share the post on your own stream, and leave a comment on it. 3 separate ways to enter into next week's drawing. And as long as you have liked our Facebook page, you are eligible to win. It also shows up in my Twitter stream at ZachSellsMagic. Follow me on Twitter and retweet for another chance to win. So 4 separate ways you can enter into next week's drawing. What's going on in the chat here? Speaking of which, where are my cards at, Zach? This is from Manjiru, which could be one of 2 people. It could be, because I have gotten really bad about the turnaround time on mailing the cards out. Yeah, it's oh man, I do want to. I believe his first name is. I want to say Philip, but that might be wrong too. But he's from Hawaii, and he has a.
He is pretty sweet.
Yes, but he also has. Yes, it is Philip. And now I'm going to attempt. Now is the portion of the show where I attempt to pronounce traditional Hawaiian names. Okay? I'm going to try my best. Philip Kahalalahua, which is a pretty awesome name to start with.
Well, apparently
Phil. Well, it's Philip. Philip to Phil is not that much. Oh, very close, he says.
Well, that's good.
But sleep sound knowing that your cards did go out earlier in the week. So sorry for the delay, but they are in the mail.
Yeah.
You have to spell that phonetically for me. Phil. I probably put too many short vowel sounds. Maybe it's more
Well,
longer.
I have no idea.
Kahelalahua. It's pretty slick. I have sent magic cards to a lot of crazy places in this world. Like, not crazy in any sense other than that it just surprises me that people have found our silly little broadcast from, a lot have gone to Europe. That's two separate people from that play group in Hawaii have won. I sent two sets of cards to people from a small town in Alberta, Canada that do not know each other. So that's been pretty fun.
I think Brandon moved down to 6, I guess. Really.
Kahalelehua. Long A sounds. As predicted, I shorted the vowel sounds. Well, anyway, thanks to Phil for participating in the giveaway in previous weeks, for his patience, and for watching tonight, and for the rest of you. Make sure you get in on that action. This is basically the exact kind of start that Justin's deck needs to compete with the speed of the Blitz deck. Number one, being on the play helps, but number two mana dork so he can go into turn 3 Thragtusk should he have that draw. So it looks like we're loading up another emissary here. Oh no, just a Flinthoof Boar. So for as good as Brandon's game 1 draw was, this one is much, much worse. Oh, we go into Smiters. Now, I'd be curious to know if the Smiters are a sideboard card.
He missed his land drop.
He did miss his land drop, yeah.
It's not good. It's probably
but the Naya deck is not as well equipped to punish the mana dorks as like the Gruul deck is. I don't think it's playing much burn, if any. Maybe like 3 Searing Spears, some Boar's Charms, I think. Uh-oh. I think we just had a mistake here. Brandon piled in, thinking that his boar was going to get pumped by the Anthem of the Mare, but since it's not a human, that is...
yeah, Brandon's...
That's just a whoopsie.
I think Brandon lost this one.
Yeah, I think Brandon would have lost it even if he hadn't just suicided this dude.
No, he
like this Naya deck,
he missed the land draw.
Yes.
Not that it really matters, but
yeah,
whatever he has in his hand, he can't cast it.
Well, he clearly doesn't have 1-drops, which is what would dig him out of the situation. Because without 3 or 4 creatures to attack into that Smiter, like a turn 3 4/4 is just good enough to. It's pretty good wool.
Yeah.
So he replaces his Flinthoof Boar. Justin's still on just 2 lands, but now with a third mana dork, we see a Thragtusk come down. And if this game wasn't already over, it's clearly over at this point.
Yeah. Start swinging and this is not even junk Reanimator. It's just like Naya aggro or something now. Well, mid-range.
Well, I've played a fair number of legacy decks that can get by on 2 lands just fine. Even the Naya Blitz deck in Standard is not a deck that's designed on 2 lands. We did find an emissary here, so let's see if he can chain anything into it. The only way he's going to win this game is if he can somehow flood the board.
He didn't really have anything to chain before, so...
Well, he had the...
I mean, obviously he has something now. But...
Lightning Mauler. see what we're pairing with.
It's just not enough.
I think I would pair with the boar because that's likely Justin's block. So at least you leave your uh, lightning mauler unpaired after combat if you chose to pile in here. Because you have to attack. Like, this deck's not going to win by not attacking.
You have to, but then you lose because he just swings in for 9.
Yeah,
after
but
block.
yeah, but I mean, you gotta. So both of these creatures will trade with the Thragtusk because the Mayor of Averbrook is out. But Justin probably wisely just taking the 6 damage and not exposing himself to losing the Thragtusk. It's pretty remarkable that Justin's doing all this on 2 lands. There's a mulch, and there are all the lands.
Yeah.
So mana will not be an issue for the rest. Now this is interesting too because off of very favorable mulch, you can sometimes just like free discard. So it'd be interesting to see how many cards are actually in his hand now. So he's piling in with the 4/4 Loxodon Smiter. So Brandon doesn't really have any favorable blocks, as he'd have to just jump out with either of his creatures.
Mayor has not flipped once.
Nope. Brandon's hand is Boros Charm, Experiment 1. I think a Skull... Could it be a Skull Crack?
This is theoretically possible for Justin to lose, but...
Yeah. Yeah, it's always possible. I don't know what the other cards in his hand are, though. Just serve in with everybody. I mean, at this point, you don't like this attack?
Not the Mayor. It's a 1/1. Didn't get pumped by anything.
Oh, we're going to Angel here. Justin going through all the motions. Blinking the Thragtusk. No Skull Crack. So, gain 5 life. Make another blocker. Eat all of your team, right?
Yeah.
Angel on boar. Token on, or Thragtusk on mare. Token on anything. Right?
That's what I would do. Yeah.
I'll put the Thragtusk on the mare just to avoid them. Well, he's just going
the Thragtusk dying.
It's going to take the other 6. Well, I mean, I guess, to be perfectly honest, Justin is at a point where he doesn't necessarily have to block if he doesn't want to.
And maybe he has another Angel for another Thragtusk.
We got tricks here. We're going to save something.
Boros, right? Charm, Indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
Which...
This saves your dudes. Nothing dies, though. But Justin's going to take 6, go down to 18. And then follow it up with the turn 1 million Experiment 1. Experiment 1 and, to a certain extent, Champion of the Parish are this format's step links, which is nothing is better on turn 1, and nothing could possibly be worse on turn 10.
Yeah. Well, Justin just attacked with literally everything.
Yep, so 8, 15, 18 points of power. He can block the Thragtusk, take 13.
Yeah, so
dead,
he dies.
Dead no matter what.
Yep.
And they get to that math, and we move to a decider. So this has been a battle of 2 pretty drastically advantageous draws from each deck. In game 1, Brandon drew basically the nuts and had Justin dead on turn 4. And in the game 2, Justin, even though it was stuck on 2 lands, but with enough mana dorks to make it a game,
yes,
basically had the game decided on his own turn 4 as well. So we move to the decider here with the Blitz deck on the play.
Very bad for Reanimator.
Great Power Van mentioning in the chat that he's always happy when Blitz loses, so at least this game was good. So, glad that we can provide that service to you by seeing your favorite archetype lose. Oh, there it is. That of course is the. We always like to have a hearty laugh about that because we just had another question in the chat about what the life total app is. and long-time stream followers will know my standard response, which is that the Phil gets the win with said it's a homebrew app. That app is called simply Life Total. It was in the iTunes store in 2010. It is no longer there. So unfortunately, you cannot find that app. The closest thing I believe is something called 20 Life. That's what people keep telling me. So you might check for it.
That's a really scary face.
Well, that's because someone's angry and flipped the table.
Well, I had a table flip face, but it wasn't that angry.
There's multiple angry faces.
Yeah.
And pretty soon the MTG bot will stop responding because of too many flip tables. What you guys can't see if you're watching on YouTube, although to be fair, I know full well that nobody watching on YouTube has gotten to this point. Actually, some people will, but like less than 10% of people. Because you can watch on YouTube like the how much time has been watched on average, and it's basically to the end of the first game, and then it's like a ski jump. Like they just after the first game they can't be bothered anymore. But what you can't see is using the MTG bot in the chat to flip a table, then do something else, and then put the table back.
Yeah, I mean, someone fixed the table, but...
Alright, so the players drawing their opening 7. Let's see if Brandon finds a keep. That was nice in the competitive event this weekend where I could, not look at my hands into Cavern Naming Human. It fixes the mana. You can't cast spells off of it, obviously, but this deck has like 4 spells.
Yeah.
So a turn 1 Boros Elite.
See what happens.
He has another Boros Elite.
Oh, that isn't tapped. Right.
That is a Clifftop Retreat coming in tapped, and there is a follow-up Boros Elite as well. So let's see what kind of turn 3 Smiter. Do these junk decks play Smiter's main deck now, or is that like a sideboard card?
I don't really know. I think I've seen a couple main deck, but I think most of them...
I love it, but I'm used to playing, seeing games played in this specific metagame, which is so aggressive. It's a very good wall.
I mean, there is the Blitz decks, and there is...
The Gruul decks are very good too.
Jund decks too, which is like...
It blocks the Flinthoof board very well. That's a Fire Fist Striker, which I believe is Battalion. Target creature can't block, right? So it's very good in this spot. Of course, you can wait for Battalion, then blink it. Then it's a whole separate creature, and then you can attack, block with it. If he does, in fact, do that exact line of play...
Block with it, and he just... Well, he can't do it right now.
He can't do it now, as he's expended his mana for an Arbor Elf, obviously trying to get up to Thragtusk mana. So Brandon's going to attack in here with Battalion. He's going to get in with 3, 6, 7, 8. 8 damage, which is virtually unblockable because he's going to trigger that Fire Fist Striker.
Well, one of the mana dorks will just block the Fire Fist Striker, though, isn't it? It doesn't have First Strike, it's just 2/1 Battalion, right?
Yeah, but I think he wants that for... If he has a 4th land, he'll chump with the Elf, which is what he's doing.
Well, even without the 4th land, I mean, I would chump... Well, if it kills it, then I would kill it because then I can block with the Smiter.
Good point, Yin. That's much better than the nonsense I was talking about. And that's exactly what he did. It would take 6 from the 2 Battalioned Boros Elite. Brandon playing an untapped Stomping Ground, so looking for 4 mana here. What are we tapping 4 for? 2 more!
Okay!
And what's interesting about this is that he's going to get, obviously 2 triggers.
Yeah.
So even if Justin plays another creature, like that Vizkopa Bloodlord, which he just revealed off the... he's still not going to be able to block with it.
Nope. He will be taking a lot of damage next turn.
Yeah. He's going to have to throw some... He's going to have to hope he has 2 more lands in his hand and throw his mana dorks in front of stuff.
I need a couple of Blood Barons. I'm going to build a new deck.
Blood Baron is a very good card. Blood Baron, when it was spoiled, was a card that one of the few times I felt like I was ahead of the curve, because it doesn't die to any removal in Standard.
Right.
All of Mizium Mortars and that's about it, So,
Yeah.
so there's a Thragtusk, which is hopefully going to hopefully for Justin, I should say, get him to the Blood Baron portion of this game.
I guess that is Ian's reason.
Ian Street is very excited about something out there. So I'm not going to, I'm going to allow that. There is a Flint Hoof Boar. It is a 3/3 and he can give it haste, which he does.
Okay. Well,
He's going to trigger Battalion. He's going to make both of the blockers unblockable.
13
That's
damage.
6, 10, 13. That is in fact 13. So Justin, in a somewhat tricky pickle here, I'm trying to think what cards he could draw that would get him out of this. I guess a Thragtusk would potentially work.
Yeah.
He's 1 mana off an Angel. Yep.
I guess a Resto Angel for
Come in.
Hello?
Hey.
Resto Angel would work. Wait for the Battalion trigger. Resto Angel.
Mhm.
Okay, well, this will also work.
Yep, so he's going to get to block with one of his Thragtusks.
And probably the Elf. There's 2 triggers, so he's going to choose a Thragtusk or 2
And the
Thragtusks.
Smiter.
But, yeah. Most likely Smiter and Thragtusk, so blocks with this. Block the 2.
Yeah, he's going to pick the Smiter and the Thragtusk because the Smiter can block and not die.
I mean,
So,
if Brandon's holding like a Burrow's Charm, I think he just wins.
so that's going to be, if he blocks 2, he's going to take 6 off. So it'll be 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7.
So if Brandon's holding any burn, he wins.
Mm-hmm. He has 2 cards in his hand. I could not see what it was. He flashed it, but I couldn't see. Part of me thinks it's a stomping ground. Should just go out there and stop. Hey, what's in your hand? We need to know.
So it goes.
Well, that's why.
Yes.
That's why when we get the unlimited money for stream, when we have the multi-camera shoot, we can just look at their hand.
Yeah.
So we're something pre-combat usually means haste. There's a lightning mauler, so that pushes the attack up to 9. So if I have done my math correctly here, Justin will survive at 1.
That actually sucks because
Oh, he did not choose the Arbor Elf. So
Actually,
both of the Thragtusk. So you put,
you have to block the 3/3s.
Yes.
Because I mean you
and
can't.
you
block
take
anything
1,
else.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. The Lightning Mauler just like screwed everything up because I would have just blocked the Farfetch'd Strikers if I could because that's the thing keeping my stuff from blocking. But
Yep. So he has to block. He can block a Flint Hoof Boar and a Boros Elite, or both Boros Elites.
Yeah.
objectively, blocking the Flint Hoof Boar and a Boros Elite is better because you could kill the other stuff. But
Also, he plays Mirror of Everbreath in his deck, so maybe you want to get the humans off the board instead of the board, which would be the pump.
Yes,
But
I would be blocking both Boros Elite, but I think it's probably
moot.
so marginal
yeah,
that if not for the need of something to talk about in here.
yeah.
Well, okay, Blood Baron, and then he would die. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a Blood Baron.
Yeah, if you cast Blood Baron, then the Blood Baron and the Smiter won't be able to block, and then he'll die to 2 damage from a Fire Fist Striker.
Right.
Yeah.
He needs to put 2 creatures on the board and pray that Brandon does not have something to pair with that Lightning Mauler.
Although
Although
just put down 8th rank
I think the Lightning Mauler is actually unpaired anyway. Well, no, it has to be paired.
It's paired.
Yeah, it has
I think he paired it with a Fire Fist Striker because that's what he put it near to, because he is pretty much planning for him to block with the 3/3s.
Yes.
So
I would have paired it with something that was going to die in
yeah,
combat.
that's always what I do.
But you're actually a good player. Wait, no.
Burn.
No,
So,
That's not true.
correct.
so we're firing up a Grizzly Salvage. There's a Resto Angel. Resto Angel.
Resto would not. Well,
Resto will do it because.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, because
Well, it's interesting here because we'll see how it plays out. If Justin has a 5th land, he can take that Thragtusk and that would, I think he could survive from there.
He needs
But
the
it'll
drag
be
tusk.
it'll be interesting to see.
The angel would not work.
Well, but the angel does open it up for if Brandon chooses his fist striker, fire fist striker triggers incorrectly, then he could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, assuming Brandon plays correctly
Yeah.
and chooses his two beasts.
Yeah. Because
Well, I mean,
then
if he didn't play a land, so like there's no reason to keep the thrag test. You at least give him the opportunity to make the mistake, right? Because if he chooses, if any one of the things that he chooses is not is the if he doesn't choose both of the tokens, then the Restoration Angel would be enough.
Actually, since he has to tap the... Yeah, no, it would be enough.
Yeah, because he'd have to.
Yeah.
he'd still
I
take
was just, I
yeah.
was just trying to think if forcing
And
the tap
he may
on
have
the-
an angel in his hand, and this may still be relevant too. I'm very intrigued by this game right now.
Yeah.
This is actually interesting now.
So attacking with everything. Now we've got 3 battalion triggers here. We're going to pump the Boros Elite, and then we're going to choose what we can't block. Now he hasn't indicated, so I imagine he's still thinking, right?
Yes.
If he chooses, like, I may be wrong, but if he chooses anything other than both beast tokens, if Justin has an angel, he can survive, right?
Yeah. And Brandon knows he has the angel, so
Brandon's counting his mana. I guess. Rearranging his lands. And showing...
What did he have in his... What, ask him what he made unblockable. Just open the door and ask him.
Brandon, what'd you make? Can't block. What'd you make? Can't block. Yeah.
Okay.
Box on Smiter and a beast.
So technically, and Justin did have the angel in his hand, right?
Yeah.
So technically, he couldn't have. Now, to be perfectly fair, he probably still would lose that game.
Yeah.
But like, he could have dug his way out of it. So.
I don't really know if he would have lost. I mean, Brandon would have needed to literally draw a burn spell.
Oh yeah, because he had his Thrag Tusk in his hand.
Like, play the angel, bounce the smiter so that it can block,
And
and then you
you
block.
block everything.
You kill like 3 things. You kill all 4
You
things.
kill everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Very interesting. I mean, it's not like the most obvious play in the world. You know what I mean? Because
it's easier for us to see it. We're up here.
And there's
in a
to be perfectly honest, yes, you're exactly right. And to be perfect, this is what I explain to people on YouTube every week. Is like it's very easy for you to go back and watch it and rewind it and check everything. But that play with like what I call like the momentary blink effect, where like if you target it and then you blink it comes back and it's a completely different permanent. Like to be perfectly honest, Justin might not know that rule. He might think, well, it still can't block because it came back. I'm not saying he does or not, but that is something that's not necessarily intuitive.
Yeah.
We got 17 minutes. I'm going to see if we can find another game.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's fine. Just take care because of these things.
I'm going to submit to peer pressure and leave.
Uh-oh. Everybody went away. All right, just so for clarification there, I was talking with Justin about that game. The play that we were suggesting wouldn't have worked. Someone tells Zach to move the Lost Legion sign up and to the right in the camera so it's always in view. Oh yeah. This thing, we'll get that sorted out. But the play I was talking about in that game actually wouldn't have worked. I went and talked to Justin because I had forgot that the 4th mana he had to cast his angel was the Arbor Elf, so he would have to blink the Arbor Elf. He couldn't have blinked the Loxodon Smiter, which would have negated the can't block effect and then let him survive. So he was just dead no matter what. He needed a 5th land for the Thrag test. Let's look at the chat and see what's going on. The chat reminding me where is the store located, which I believe Evilbeard's already answered. We are in West Virginia. Hello to SC Profit joining us again tonight. Uh-oh, Evilbeard is posting a picture. So let's see what goodies he got. Oh, very nice. Some altered Liliana's by Steve Argyle. Looks like we've got a Elspeth, Liliana, and a Jace.
I'm gonna assume there's space.
There's always space for you, Yin.
I know, right?
I'm bringing you up here for the people. Evilbeard has just pointed out, just shared some cool Liliana altars he had done. And also, the play we were talking about wouldn't have worked, Yin. Because I was neglecting that the Arbor Elf was the 4th mana source. So he could blink the Arbor Elf, but
I'd have to blink one of them, and then would only have 3 blockers. So
he would have had to have chosen the Arbor Elf to not block, and he didn't.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
But again, I would like to reiterate that I have never once claimed to be good at this game. So that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. So check these out.
I'm not good at commentating. I'm good at playing when I am actually...
That's an Elspeth, right? The one on the left is Elspeth. Obviously altered by the artist himself, Steve Argyle.
Seems like an Elspeth and a Jace.
Look at some Elspeth and Jace action here.
Female Jace. Yay.
Question in the chat, when does the next round begin? We have 12 minutes left in the round, but there is only one match still being played.
Actually, I think they're just randomly playing on camera right now. Oh. There are people on. Max is playing Brandon Gibbs, I think. I don't know if it's for fun or what, but...
Oh, I thought you meant on our camera.
Or go.
No, they're playing for fun, because I thought they were moving to Game 3. They're not. There's
That's
one
what I
more
thought they
game.
were playing.
Garrett is playing someone who has a 15-15 Dreg Mangler. But of course, Garrett's playing tokens, so like, if there's no Rancor involved, he's not going to lose to that. So I think the round is going to be over relatively soon, and we'll move to the third round. We are only doing 4 rounds tonight, which is 23 people, so 4 rounds and a cut to top 8. So we're halfway there.
I guess everyone is saying it's Chandra.
Is Chandra? There's not enough red in it to be Chandra, is it?
No idea.
Extra legacy bonus coverage. I don't know. The only 2 legacy decks I have are my Hive Mind deck from this weekend and Burn. There's Hodge.
What's up?
What up? It's been a long time since I've been in the room.
I know. It's been a long time since you've been here, period.
It's been a long time since I played Magic.
Magic, the Gathering, collectible card game for kids.
Imaginary Wizard Fights.
I think I laughed at because I said I played Magic at work.
Uh-oh.
Shut up, you're a lawyer.
Uh-oh.
Oh, they're all...
Uh-oh. Did it ruin your whole life?
No. But there was a cute girl. It was like, oh well. Whatever.
Cute girls.
Yeah.
The natural enemy to Magic the Gathering.
Very anti-Magic.
I don't even want to go down that road of...
I tell you what, that was
just my camera.
that was physically the most painful game of Magic I've ever played in my life.
At some point during the game, did you sit on a cactus?
No, I started the game with an injured right hand, so shuffling and everything else.
You have
And then, like an idiot, at the end of the game, I extended my right hand to him.
I think it's funny because you have like I'm injured. I can't play Magic. It's like you pulled a hammy and you can get to. This is full contact Magic.
It's you know.
Apparently.
Someone in the chat, or Chaz in the chat, talking about playing Kaijudo with the kids. I did see that Jerry Thompson this week did mention that he played in his first Kaijudo tournament last night at Star City's main store there in Roanoke. He went 3-0.
No cover.
I can't be bothered to learn any other card games.
I don't want to... Well,
that's a good point. I don't want to learn anymore. Like, I don't... Like board games or casual fun games or stuff like that, I'll learn. But I have no desire to learn another trading card game. Like,
another trading card game. I'll learn poker, but not another trading card game.
Yeah, poker is more lucrative.
Yeah,
and I've also learned, the swings are bigger. I've learned how to play, and I've talked about this on camera before, I've learned how to play the DC Universe deck building game. Have you seen that? It's basically like, you know how like Ascension is basically that, like the poster child for that deck building archetype where you start with some community cards and then you add cards to your deck, and over the course of the game you play with that. Like DC has their own DC Universe like thematic build of it, and I played it at one of those like free comic book day. They had like demos, and like Brett Rose was showing people how to play it, and so that's the perfect time for me to learn, because like there's no magic going on. I'm just here to support the store, get some free comic books, and learn how to play that game. It's like really fun. It's very simple mechanics, and it's like it's very interesting. I think it's very interesting too that for as much as people obsess over my beard, I have obviously cut like 5 inches off of my beard. Not a single person has mentioned it.
Maybe they think it's like you didn't cut it under your own free will and a coordination don't want to hurt your feelings.
It just started to look really bad, and so I had to get rid of it. And now it's like this awkward thing where it kind of sticks out because like when your beard is that long, like it starts to like I don't know, it just starts to behave differently than if it's short. You know what I mean?
Another pouring crying, please.
Uh oh, SC Prophet says that he did ask if I trimmed it, so
Oh.
it makes me look like I'm 10 years younger and 10 years less homeless as well. And I have now only the prince of the hobos. I've lost my kingship. So we should be moving on into round 3 here shortly. So Brandon, you're undefeated. Max Turner's undefeated with Grixis control. We'll probably try to get him on camera here shortly. I always love the Grixis decks. Because you don't? Because you can't beat them?
Because I lose to them via Drown Yard.
Yes. Yeah, in the Battle of Fair decks,
I don't even lose to Aetherling, I just lose to Drown Yard.
I don't even know if he's playing Aetherling. I know he has a Gristlebrand in his deck.
I think Drew's the one that has an Aetherling, but
Yeah.
Drew's also the one that I lost to with Drown Yard.
Yeah, and I don't know what else is going on out there. So let's get back to talking about this weekend. This is a good one. I do want to stop for a second. Cashin Par in the chat saying that I've moved from King of the Hobos to Lumberjack making questionable life choices. That's very, very solid. So we'll talk about SCG Columbus next round or so. But let's finish up this conversation about GP Las Vegas, which we were talking about earlier. Obviously, coverage of that's going to be on the mothership. I believe they're using the Magic Pro Tour tag, so I think it's twitch.tv/magic or /Magic Pro Tour, so make sure to check that out. I'll try to put that in the recap post if I do one this week.
Side note, apparently Brandon Hodge is now Max Turner, but...
Well, I can't be bothered to do all of this. Too much.
To become a better Magic player.
But, yeah, so I do want to talk a little bit about just the format. I did have some personal issues come up over the weekend when we did do the Modern Masters draft day here at the shops. We had all-day drafting on Saturday. I was out of town, so I didn't get a chance to participate in any of that. But this week we did have a casual draft. One of the guys here at the shop had a box that he had bought, and rather than just ripping it open, as I've tried so hard to beat through your guys' heads as well as the people here locally, you can't just rip that open. You got to draft it. It's too fun not to. But we did draft it, and it is a remarkably fun archetype. Have you drafted it at all?
Yeah.
You were here that
Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah.
And you say you haven't played Magic in forever, so
I have not drafted Magic.
Okay, so here's my initial take on Modern Masters as a draft set. It's very fun. The decks that they have built into it are very fun to play. They're not traditional limited archetypes. You know what I mean? It's not. I think it's very unique in that regard. But you have to pick a deck and go with it very early. Like, you can't just be, like, halfway through the first pack or at the tail end of the first pack and be like, I might be Affinity, or I might be the Thallid guy, or I might go Storm. You can't just have, like, good cards. I started off picking good cards. I started off with a Lightning Helix, which seems like the best card, and then, like, picked up, like, a Bone Splitter at some point, too, which I thought, because the format's a little bit slow, and I figured that could be good. And then, like, by the end of the first pack, I'm like, I'm part Affinity deck, part Goblin Tribal deck, part just complete jank. And then by the end of the draft, I was playing a black Goblin deck with 2 Bone Splitters, a Grape Shot, and that guy that you can bounce, the Grinning Ignis. So I could Grape Shot, but it did have a Greater Gargadon, and Greater Gargadon makes my, like, super aggro deck, like, pretty good. So, and I had, like, a Sting Scourger and a couple flyers, so I was basically just, like, play some early dudes, put a Bone Splitter on them, get you, like, try to rush out. But, like, it was not a good deck. Like, it was not, but, like, you basically have to pick. I've never played a draft format that had such clearly defined archetypes. You know, you play core set draft, a lot of times there's, like, the mono-red deck, or, like, the black-white exalted deck, or the blue-white flyers deck. Even in other, you know, you look at the Return of Ravnica block, you had similar linear archetypes where you had the Extort deck, or you had the Boros Beatdown deck, or you had this, that, you know, they had the Rogues, what's the what's it when you put it on a Cypher? You had the Cypher decks, stuff like that. So you had those archetypes, but like it's so much more emphatic in that regard in Modern Masters. Like you have like the Affinity deck, and so you need to draft so many artifacts and so many things to be able to take advantage of that. You have the Thallid deck, so you need to draft X number of Thalids for that deck to be like viable. So it'll be very interesting. What was your take on it when you drafted a couple weekends ago?
Well, unfortunately, I was paying money to draft it.
So you were rare drafting pretty hard. Before, not to cut you off, but before we mention that is what's very exciting, or at least very fun about drafting someone's box casually. Like, it was Brandon Hart. He bought the box.
Yeah.
They were his cards. We all got 3 packs open to play with. We all brought sleeves to keep him in good shape. But he was taking all the cards home with him. So you didn't have to worry about drafting just the money cards. You could take what was the best card from you in every pack. That's why I got in pack 3 a turn 4 Dark Confidant. It's just because the players in front of me could not play that card, and they didn't have to worry about taking the $50 or $60 card. They could just take what they wanted to. So that's very refreshing.
Very good for the draft.
You have a lot more fun as a draft, but in the other circumstance where you're paying your $30 or $35 to draft or whatever, you take the bob and you could care less about how you do.
It was like pack 1, pull 1 was like Vidalcan Shackles, and then pack 2, pick 1 was like Cryptic Command. So I was like, well, I wasn't drafting blue otherwise, but I ended up drafting basically 2 blue cards there for no reason other than money.
So what did you end up playing?
I had like Black Fairies.
Yeah, Fairies is a real good deck. The blue-black Fairies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of synergy in that deck, and it's just like
I would do artifacts all the way if I could like redo it. Like just the fact that you can have like turn 1 Court Homunculus and then turn 2 Bone Splitter equipped swing for 4.
Yeah, Court Homunculus is a card I kept trying to take, but there was always like another card in the pack that seemed better if I couldn't get X number of artifacts. So I was just like, I just never ended up picking them up. But like that's a very solid card. People forget like in the first extended season after Scars of Mirrodin existed, that Court Homunculus based Tempered Steel deck, like half Tempered Steel, half Affinity deck and extended, that was like a very dominant archetype at that extended Pro Tour. Was the turn 1 Court Homunculus, turn 2 Tidehollow Sculler, turn 3 Tempered Steel. That was a real deck. So that's a very solid card. And like I picked up 2 Bone Splitters like very late, and that seems like wrong. Like especially like in a Fairies deck where you can jam it on a flyer.
Yeah.
Like a Bone Splitter's a heck of a card. It's like I play that card in my cube all the time, and like turn 1 dude, turn 2 Bone Splitter equip is pretty brutal. Also, Blue-Black Fairies just seems solid because it's just a pile of good cards. Like it's like there's synergy in it, but like the cards are just good. Like Pepper Smoke gets to draw you a card, but if it doesn't, it still kills something. Spellstunner's Flight sometimes, will counter a spell, but it's still a 1/1 flyer. Still an evasive creature. So
I eventually got to the point where like I would lose if stuff goes to late game and people started playing like 5/5s.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't deal with that. And that's
kind of how Magic works, though. You gotta get X.
I know it's basically
X
single
damage
elimination because of the prize pool. So it was just like, well, I lose a match, I'm gonna drop and sign up for the next.
No one was drafting Modern Masters that weekend for the value in terms of gameplay or to winning the prizes. It was just, I hope I'm the one who opens the Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
So I thought it was very interesting. Another deck that a lot of people were talking about was the Rebels, which I've talked about before on camera, like how powerful Rebels were as a form. It dominated Standard when it was legal in Mask Block.
Yeah, I think you have a format that has Rebels and it has Changeling creatures, so for Changeling creatures, I mean,
the
it's
Changelings
so
are pretty
good.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's very rare situations where you don't want to jam a couple in your deck.
Yeah, but it is, again, it's a critical mass deck. If you're fighting with the guy 2 seats down for the Rebels, like it's going to be a bad day for both of you. And then like the Storm deck, like the blue-red Storm deck or the mono-red Storm deck, just seems really fun, but also like the most cute. Like you may have a lot of fun, you may also get destroyed. It also depends on what kind of rares you open, I think, in that one a lot. But I don't know. All in all, it was a really fun format. I'd hope to be able to do it again at some point, but we'll just have to wait and see if that's logistically going to be possible. But
well, I'm sure you will because I have a box sitting at home. So.
Oh yeah. So, maybe.
At some point. Just have to draft it before I leave.
Great Power Band saying Storm doesn't exist. Storm, I think, is like the most it's like the biggest trap because like you can have Storm cards in your deck. Like for example, I was playing like the Grinning Ignis, and I was playing Grape Shot. But Grape Shot is not so much a storm card as it is just a versatile removal spell. Like, getting your storm count up to 2 in a turn is very easy, in which case it just becomes a shock, and you would draft shock. Like, that's fine. And then if you get up to 3, that's just, like, pure gravy. Like, I was playing against Ian Nolte during our draft, and he had put together, as time has just been called in the round, so there is a match that's dragging us out to time, but, I mean, literally, there's only one table out there.
Same tally for
But, Ian had drafted, like, this blue-red, like, kind of value deck, like, a bunch of Aether Snipes and a bunch of Errant Ephemeron, the 4/4 suspend guy, which, like, if you have, like, someone playing, like, a Pauper Cube, like, common only cube, like, Errant Ephemeron and Blastoderm and Rolling Earthquake are all about competing for, like, if you could just pick one card out of the entire cube as your first pick, what would it be? Like, Errant Ephemeron is strong and limited, so, like, and it's common, and you can pick up a lot of them. You suspend it on turn 2, and it's just counting down to the inevitable, and then Aether Snipes helped maintain board presence and stuff. But there was actually an interesting thing where I attacked in. He tried to bounce one guy or tried to tap somebody down with a Pestermite or something, or tried to Glacial Ray, which is another really good card, the Cold Snap card or whatever it is. No, it's the Arcane card. The Arcane card. Yeah, but and then I saved it with like the red Giant Growth, whatever, Brute Force, and then he did something else, and by the end of the turn, my Grape Shot was worth like 5 or 6 because we're both casting spells that turn. But like Empty the Warrens is much more all in. Like, you know what I mean? You gotta, you gotta making 2 goblins for 4 mana on turn 4 is not that great. Making 10 goblins on turn 4 for 4 mana is pretty good. So it'll be interesting.
You can make like 4 goblins.
You could open a Lotus Bloom, makes it very easy. So. It's interesting. I'll be very interested. I don't think I'm going to watch a lot of the coverage. Tomorrow is all sealed at the Grand Prix, and then they have drafts on day 2, which is on Sunday. But I'll try to watch a draft on Sunday and watch the pros pick, because that's I don't really care about draft. I actually proactively hate watching draft coverage, just because I don't think it translates as well to a spectator aspect. But watching a pros pick through 3 packs of Modern Masters might be pretty entertaining. So I'll at least go back and watch it after the fact. But it should be pretty cool to see. It's definitely a once in a lifetime kind of Grand Prix event to have a tournament that big with that specific set of cards. There was talk on my Twitter stream about how many people would just buy open a Tarmogoyf and just drop. You know what I mean? Because there's going to be X number of people who just open pools that are worth X and then just be like, it's not worth.
Actually playing it, yeah.
Just go sell them and play side events. There's going to be, I imagine, I would be curious to see what the over-under would be set on side events that fire that weekend. I mean, you might have close to 500 side events, literally.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's going to be 4,500 people. Yeah. Going to be a lot of fun.
I think GP Charlotte had 100 winner boxes fired. There were 100 drafts. It was something ridiculously high.
Should be interesting. I lost my train of thought. So let's. I've got to get this. Gosh, I don't know if I have it or not. But my buddy, I got to get my ad up from my buddy's website, affinityforcards.com. He. Yeah, we do have a coupon code. It's above here, in the banner. So if you want to, whatever this is, if you want to help support the stream, you can do so in a way that won't cost you directly anything. We do get a relatively small kickback from this coupon code, which I'm now going to bring up here. All right, so I've done that, and I have not put together any kind of graphic for this. But I've mentioned it before. A good friend of mine, Nick Beckvar, has just started his own retail site. And while I always encourage everyone to support their local game store as best they can, everyone knows full and well that all the cards you need to compete in Magic are not always available at your local game store. So for those hard-to-find cards, head over to affinityforcards.com. Use the coupon code LOSTLEGION, all one word, and you get 5% off your first order. And then There'll be more. Like I said, he unveiled this week. There's more information about it on the website, but a tiered process basically where his slogan is the more you buy, the less it costs. The more you buy, the more you save. So basically, not unlike Affinity, you spend $50, you get for $50 you get X percentage off. For $100 you get X percentage off, and it just keeps going up. So the more you buy, the more you save. And like I said, if you do use the coupon code Lost Legion, it does help out the stream somewhat. So like I say, support your local card shop if you can. But for those hard to find cards, those pimp foils and stuff, head over to affinityforcards.com. Or if you don't have your own local game store, make sure to check out the stock over there. We'll be supporting those guys more in time, and obviously check out the fine folks at Ink Playmats. Brandon, this is the first time you've been here since we had this.
It is. I've really enjoyed playing on the playmat.
It's pretty cool. That is courtesy of the fine folks at inkplaymats.com, which I've talked about at length before. They hooked us up with that. They helped us with the graphic design of it. I think it looks great, and it works out very well. So if you have your own need for personal customized playmat, make sure to head over there and get that done from them. I think personalized playmats start at $20, which is basically cheap as free in my opinion. Like it's
$20 is good.
Playmats themselves sometimes cost $20.
Yeah, I mean,
if you want specific art or whatnot. Yeah, so it's a very good deal in my opinion. And obviously, they were kind enough to help us out there. So make sure you spread the love back to them.
I tried to be conscious about, like, when I actually threw a creature in the red zone, to actually move it into the red zone.
Well, you were much more courteous than almost everyone else that does it. They don't really give a crap, but I appreciate your willingness to put the cards wherever. When I was talking to those guys, I said, you can probably just take those off if you want to, like the deck area and the graveyard area, because I know my guys won't use it. And they're like, this is kind of our standard design. And I was like, that's fair. But I was just trying to save you some time, because I know guys won't use it. My favorite are the people who put their deck over here on the bottom of the left-hand side, so it just covers up the... it's like, thanks a lot. That's the whole reason they gave it to us. And while we've got some time here, we are going to start some Magic here shortly. I apologize for the lull, but remember, sitting over on our Facebook page at facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic is this week's giveaway for a playset of rock, paper, scissors cards, as I mentioned before, recently restocked by our own Yin Sang in his box of unhinged and unglued bulk. So if you want to win your own playset and start your games not unlike a boss, then head over there, like, share, and comment on the post. And as long as you like our Facebook page, you are eligible to win. It also shows up in my Twitter feed at ZachSellsMagic. So follow and retweet for 4 separate ways to enter to win next week's drawing. Also helps us out spread the word about the stream. Last week we had some pretty monumental milestones. We hit 600 Facebook likes.
Nice.
We were dangerously close to getting 1,200 subscribers on YouTube, and we went over 700 follows on Twitch, so 700 Twitch subscribers. I appreciate the guys in the chat, because I was talking about how we were at like 697 when I started last week's broadcast on Twitch, as far as followers. And I was like, come on guys, you gotta help us out. And then we went up to we got like 20 immediately. I was gonna plow through that.